someone approached Jesus about whether it was lawful to divorce one's wife or not. This was 2,000 years ago, during the times of Judaism, when it was at its height in practice and teachings and popularity and traditions. And apparently people were divorcing their spouses for ridiculous reasons and for no reasons, and the laws of Moses forbade it unless it was under certain circumstances. But Jesus told them that Moses allowed it because of their stubbornness, to their refusal to just be obedient to God's original design. People wanted to break away from the original plan of God and structure of God and just kind of go on and do their own thing. But Jesus said from the very beginning of creation, when all of man's history was at its starting point, that it was not so. That both the husband and the wife would leave their parents and be joined together as one unit, and the two would become one flesh. And so marriage is actually was embedded into the laws of creation, and the people, and that's not the only thing that people have broken away from when it comes to God's original design. Of course, a lot of people come up with these theories that, creation is just a myth, and we just got here by chance and by random acts of materialistic evolution. And some people don't believe in creation, or they just kind of disregard it so that they can, be what they want to be in their own eyes, and without any accountability to the Creator. So they dismiss the Creator and they dismiss His creation, so they can be a lot of themselves and not be accountable to God. But God said many things about how people should conduct themselves, and He gives a blueprint of how life should be, how it should be lived, how it should be practiced, and that if you follow this blueprint, you'll be blessed as a people, blessed even individually, if you follow God's design for living and for pursuits. But people have broken away from following God's design, and they follow their own plans and their own supposed destinies, without realizing that God already knows your future. God has granted to a certain extent free will and free choice, but not without its limits. There are limits to what man can do. That's what happened at the Tower of Babel, is that when people started saying, well, let's make a name for ourselves so that we can be great, without being accountable to God. So they all got together, all these different people around the world, and they built the tower to reach heaven. It was a big tower. It was like a huge pyramid ziggurat. And there's different interpretations on what it was for exactly, but we see those kind of similar structures all around the world. These pyramids where they have the temples on top, and they do satanic worship on top with these little temples, human sacrifices, and trying to appease the gods, the sun gods, and all this other stuff. But yeah, they wanted to make a name for themselves, but God came down and confused their languages and put limits on what man could do. And it seems to me like we're still trying to build the Tower of Babel, although not with mud and with dirt and with straw and hay, and not just with concrete and steel and all these other metals and elements, but we're doing it on a technological level. We're building a Babel, reaching out into the heavens with satellites, with technology, and trying to reach. We may not be trying to reach God, but although some may be trying to, they just want to see what's out there, exploratory, which is cool. But are we not in fact building another tower to try to reach that would reach into the heavens? And but interesting to note that now that we are in the heavens with our satellites and able to see what's out there, we definitely have a perspective about God that we didn't have before. We can see how things actually are rather than see things on a superficial level, and without mythology. Although if you want, theories are still made, and they're mythological until they're proven. Theories about how the cosmos came to be, and how the planets formed, and how the stars originated, and the invisible realm of space, which they call black matter. What properties, physical properties, it actually has, because they're saying that now they're saying that space itself has fabric to it. That it's not just invisible nothingness, but it's actually material, black matter, that it bends and warps and shapes like and that has some. And it's not just the gravitational forces that keep the planets together, but it's the way that the space is actually contours and warps according to the weight of the planets. So, but that's another theory that's not absolute until proven. But so it still could be in the realm of mythology. But God has done these things, and God has set parameters around us. So I'm not sure where those limits are. I guess we're going to find out. But it could be some time yet in the future that we can discover those limits. But until then, we'll keep trying to build the tower, keep trying to build the ziggurats to try to reach God and try to make a name for ourselves.